Hey everybody, it's me, Ben. I'm still setting up. Oh, I forgot to change. Ugh. I forgot to change the title of this stream and everything. That was dumb. Sorry about that. Okay, that should be that. So everything should be fine now. We're not going to have a lot of viewers tonight because I'm not on Chess TV. This is the only time I stream where I'm not on Chess TV. I also stream Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm on Chess TV, so I have 2,000 viewers. This one will have about 100. People don't like my channel unless they're forced to watch it. Hey, Batavia, Illinois. I have 2 drinks. I have protein drink and a bottle of water. So this stream, we're going to analyze the games that I played last weekend at the ALTO tournament in Charlotte. ALTO stands for at least 21. So everybody in the tournament is 21 years and older. Before the tournament, there was a chess camp for adults only, which I taught at, along with several other grandmasters in the Charlotte area. And Dina was the organizer, and she taught also. Yeah. See, I was black in the first game, so we'll flip. The time control for these games is game in 110 minutes with a 10-second increment. And so forth. There will be videos made for each game that I show today. And over the next 10 days, those videos will be put on YouTube channel, which some of you are watching right now, and you can watch individual games. We'll have thousands of people watch those videos, but we have less than 100 people watching the stream now. So if you're watching now, you get to see the live analysis of the games, and you don't have to wait a week. And so forth. I'd like to make a couple announcements. One is good and one you're going to be mad at. The first announcement is this weekend on chess.com or chess24, whatever they do, on Twitch and YouTube, I'm doing live coverage of an under 13 match where there's 2 groups. And winner of each group will play on Sunday. Saturday, Eastern time, the coverage is 9 to 11:30 a.m., then 2 to 4:30 p.m. First one's group 1, second one's group 2. There's a big break in the middle. Then Sunday from 11 to 1:30 will be the finals. I'll be doing commentary, which you can watch on Twitch or YouTube. Not this Twitch and YouTube, the ones that chess.com owns or chess24 or, something like that. So you can watch it on Twitch or YouTube. And my co-commentator, person running the show, is Mike Klein. So again, that's tomorrow live Eastern time, 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. To 5 p.m. Okay, that's the good news. So you can watch me do commentary for best players in the world under the age of 13 playing a match. Bad news is, it's bad for you. It's good for me. Sunday night, the Atlanta Braves are playing the Los Angeles Dodgers in Atlanta, and my nieces are performing in a choir at the game. So Karen's brother and sister-in-law are buying tickets for the families. So there'll probably be about 10 or 11 of us there. And we're going to watch the game, Braves Truist Park. Game starts at 7:10 p.m. That means for the second week in a row, there will not be a sub Sunday. However, there will be a sub Saturday tomorrow, even though I'm going to be doing commentary in the morning and in the afternoon, and probably making 5 minutes with Ben in the middle. I'll stream tomorrow night from 7 to 9. Probably start a little before 7. So you can watch me all weekend, but there's no sub Sunday. Okay, let's do a marker. Okay, so as I said before, but now I'm saying it to the people on YouTube, we're going to look at my games from the ALTO tournament last weekend. First game, I was black. My opponent's USCF rating was 1902. Okay, his name is Garrett Allen. I played my closed Benoni that I like to play, which I figure is good against the 1900. Usual position. My opponent played the most aggressive way, trying to get an advantage very quickly with f4. And all I know about f4 in the closed Benoni is you have to take it. Doesn't matter when they play f4. It could be move 6, which is now, could be move 10, could be move 20. You take it and don't let them play f5. Once I let them play f5. Okay, so I took, then I castled, knight f3, and I decided to play rook e8 and bishop f8. Engine thinks I should play knight h5 here. Okay, so rook e8. Bishop d3. Again, engine says I should play knight h5, and it says the position's equal. I played bishop f8. Always played bishop f8. He castled, and I played knight bd7. Okay, this position, black has a positional threat, which my opponent didn't stop. After the game, I told him what move he should play here to stop my positional threat. So you guys can answer in the Twitch and YouTube chats if you're watching live. If you're watching on YouTube, which is more likely in a few days, I got nothing for you. Next time, watch live. What move does black want to play here next move? And white should prevent it. No, nobody's answered in either chat. Man, truth hurts. A5 means that I'm going to have to ban you. I didn't say what move would be a terrible positional mistake and black shouldn't play it. I said, what should black play? Resigns is a better answer than A5. Oh, snap. The answers in the chat are shallow and pedantic. Snub Radar in YouTube, which has many fewer viewers, was correct. And somebody is now correct in the Twitch chat, but I can't read their name. Answer is knight g4. Black wants to play knight g4 and then put one of the knights on e5. And black doesn't want to take with a pawn. Black wants to have a piece ensconced on e5. If you cannot ensconce a piece on e5, the second best thing you can do is to ensconce yourself in velvet. That's the second best. The best is e5. So in this position, white should play h3. After the game, I said you should play h3. And the engine says white should play h3. So for once I was right. My opponent thought by playing f4, h3, he's moving too many pawns in front of his king. He literally and figuratively didn't care about my maneuver. He played queen e1. I played knight g4. Now I can basically have a piece sit on e5 the rest of the game. Queen g3. Engine says I should play this knight to e5. I played knight g to e5. Bishop e2 is probably forced. Then I played g6. Want to play bishop g7. The engine still says white's better, but even me knowing that, I would take black here. I got the ensconcement. Bishop g5. Engine likes that. Bishop e7. Now in this position, the engine says white should play h4 or bishop h6. He traded bishops, which the engine doesn't like. It still prefers white, but that's because the engine's wrong. Rook a e1, a6, stopping him from playing knight b5 and preparing to play b5 later, which I think I did. Knight g5, very aggressive. Engine doesn't like that move and says it's equal now. I don't really understand that move unless white wants to play knight h3, knight f4, which I also don't understand. And later in the game, when I attacked his knight, he went back here. So I don't know why he played knight g5. Okay, I fianchettoed my king. Rook f4 is, okay. Engine says h6 is the right move. It says knight f3 is the right move. It says knight takes f3 is the right move. It says taking any way is equal. Took with the bishop. It says that that's probably the worst way to take out of rook takes and queen takes. And I put my other knight on e5. I got two knights, one for each of you. Bishop back to e2. Develop my last piece. Engine says it's equal. Rook f8. Engine agrees. Defending my f-pawn. Play knight d1. Wants to play knight e3, knight f5 check. b5. Engine recommended. And he took, which really surprised me, giving me free rein on the queen side. Engine hates that move. I didn't expect that. I didn't even look at that. I take back. Now I have nice pawns on the queen side, controlling all the squares, and my rook is now active somehow. Played knight e3. I was very annoyed by knight f5 check. Engine says queen g5 is the best move. I played king h7, which is the second best move. Played a3, saving his pawn. I played rook a4, which is the best move. Very simple tactical threat. I want to play g5, attacking his rook, and his rook doesn't have a square that would defend his e4 pawn. So I'm trying to put pressure on his e4 pawn and remove the defender and then be up a center pawn. He played knight g4, wants to play knight f6 check. Engine says that's a terrible move, and it says bishop take g4 is correct. I definitely don't want to trade my knight on e5. I've been espousing that my knight is ensconced on e5, and when you espouse what you ensconce, you can't get rid of that. Okay, he took with the bishop. Engine says black is winning here strategically because his bishop's no good, e-pawn's weak, nice pawns on the queen side, and the ensconced knight. I played king g7, which is fine. Put it in h. b4. Now, in this position, I thought my opponent should play bishop d1 and then take my pawn. And the engine says white should play bishop d1 and take my pawn. It still says black is close to winning. Took, which surprised me. Now he's got two weak pawns. Played b3. Queen is defending his pawn. Played rook d4, which is recommended by the engine. Engine says I'm winning. Played bishop e2. Played another engine move, rook a8. I don't need my rook on f8. My knight is doing a good job defending f7. I want my rook, my rooks to get active here and start attacking pawns and bishops and stuff. Played bishop g4. I played rook a2. Even though material's equal, the engine says I'm +3. Bishop f5. That's a tactical mistake, and now I'm winning material. Black to play and win material. Thanks, Paulo. You're the best. Caffeinated Bryce, you always give the same answer. Someday it'll be right. But if I ask question, what move wins material, it's very unlikely the answer will be resigns. Yeah, Moon Lewis got it and Squirrel Brained. Everybody else is banned. Rook to d3. The reason I can't legally capture his bishop is I'm pinned. So if I attack his queen moves away, then I can take his bishop. His other move is to block with the rook, and then my ensconced knight would take his rook. Played queen e1. Now I'm up a bishop. I'm pretty good when I'm up a piece. Rest of the game doesn't deserve much commentary. Took with the rook. I doubled on the 7th rank. He checked me. I saw it. Played rook f2. Traded. And then I played knight g4. So I have pressure on h4, attacking e4, attacking f2. It's hard to defend all of that. I played queen f4. I calculated that me taking this and him taking this is actually better for me. And the engine agrees. And then I play king g7. He doesn't have any checks. And now I'm threatening queen e1 checkmate with advantage. If he plays king f1 to stop queen e1 mate, then queen f2 is mate. In this position, the engine says black has forced mate no matter what move white makes, but it says queen f4 is the best. And it says I have mate in 13. The second best is queen e5 check, giving up his queen. That's mate in 7. So since he's getting mated and he's down a knight, he decided to resign. I'm not sure if he resigned because he was getting mated or because he was down a knight. So that was my first round game. I won a game. I don't win very often in slow chess. Some of the comments in the chat seem like jokes. Now, that's okay, but in this instance, it seems like all of the comments are jokes. That's less good. Okay, now we're going to look at round 2. I have the white pieces, and I'm playing Miles Tisserand, who was about 2070, I think, his U.S. chess rating. And I pointed out to anybody I could, my first 2 round opponents were very tall. Much taller than the average person. Even for tall people, I mean, the first round guy was like normal tall. He was probably 6'2". This guy was tall for tall. Okay, this guy made Mikhail Tal look short. And he made Nigel Short look not tall. This guy, if I had to guess, I would say is 6'6". Now, the round 3, I was expecting to play somebody tall, and that didn't happen. Okay, so I'm white, playing Miles Tisserand. He played a line which a friend of mine used to play a lot when I was a kid, and that was b6. And 45 years ago, I know you were supposed to play knight c3, bishop b7, queen c2. Then black plays d5, and supposedly that's the way for white to get an advantage. But I figured he was going to blitz out 15 moves of prep, and I would be out of prep after queen c2, since I haven't analyzed this in 40 years. So I just played knight f3, played e6, and this is just a queen's Indian. So I played the Petrosian variation, which was later taken up by Kasparov. Possible some of the people in the chess world started calling it the Kasparov variation, but it was called the Petrosian variation before Kasparov played it. That's A3. If you look at chess games between 1979 and 1994, where Kasparov was white, you'll find many games in this position. Kasparov would play A3 against the Queen's Indian. And one of my favorite games, starting in this position, is a game he beat Portish in Nixich 1983. And I actually played a couple of moves this game that Kasparov also played in his game with Portish, but the position was different, so the engine scoffs at my moves. Says those moves suck. So, oh well. D5 is the main move. You take with the knight. I knew a lot of theory 30 years ago in this line, and I didn't play either side of it, but I saw a lot of Kasparov games. Okay. E3, Queen c2 is also a move. Knight takes. I knew I have to take back. Knight d7. Played bishop d3. And he played c5. So I castled. And now, played queen c7. I have to decide what to do with these pieces. And in the Kasparov-Portish game, which I mentioned earlier, Kasparov played bishop b2, c4, eventually played d5, sacked on h7, sacked on g7, and Portish's king ran up the board, and Kasparov won. Very famous game. None of you know it. Kasparov, Portish, Niksich 83. You can look it up and you'll see what Kasparov did to Portish. Okay, now the engine says play e4 dummy. That's the center. Okay, I don't know why the engine's calling me a dummy. I did win this game. Okay, so I played c4. And engine says that's bad. Says you should play g6, bishop g7. That actually reminds me another famous game, because Kasparov lost in 1984 to Viktor Korchnoi in the first game of their candidates match. It was the only game Korchnoi won. Korchnoi was black. He ended up sacrificing a pawn on the queen side, and he rolled Kasparov. And in that game, Korchnoi fianchettoed both of his bishops. My opponent played bishop e7 with the same idea. After bishop b2, instead of g6, bishop g7, played bishop f6. Engine prefers black here, actually. Okay, I played queen e2, and my opponent showed that he wasn't playing for a draw. Played a slightly unusual opening. We transposed into a normal opening. And then he said, "Excuse me while I whip this out." Everybody screamed. And then he played the move, the losing move, not losing in this game. This game, his move is okay. The losing move in the Gelfand game. I have a game I played Gelfand, which many of you have seen, and we make jokes about it. And in Nimzo Indian, Gelfand could have castled either way, and Gelfand decided to castle queenside, and then I checkmated him in 25 moves. And my opponent also castled queenside. The engine doesn't like that. The engine says he should castle kingside. On the other hand, the engine doesn't like the way I refuted his play, so, black ended up being okay. Rook d1, rook h e8. The engine says knight d2 is the best move, which is what I played. I want to play knight e4 or bishop e4. And I totally overlooked tactical moves that he made here, and I thought I was much worse. The engine just says it's equal, and I've done nothing wrong. But during the game, I thought knight d2 was a bad move, and now I'm worse. He took, I took back, and I'm sitting here going la 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 la, and he called the arbiter over, and she said, you can't sit there going la 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 la. So I stopped. And then while I was doing that, he said, "Excuse me while I whip this out." And everybody screamed. That's the second time he did it this game. Knight c5. I didn't see knight c5 even when he played it. Then I sat here thinking, I'm old. I've played moves like knight c5 before. Usually with white, I play knight c4 with similar tactic. And now he wants the two bishops, and more importantly, he wants to win my d pawn. So I thought I was much worse. And the engine says, no, it's equal. You did good. Okay, so recomposed myself. Took on c5, which is correct. Then I played rook a b1, which is correct. Engine says he can take on a3 or play queen e5, and they're both equal. Took on a3, he's a pawn up. And I figured I had compensation for a pawn because his king isn't really that safe. And his extra pawn is not promoting. Got an extra kingside pawn. So if we go into a king and pawn ending, I'm lost. But as long as there's a lot of pieces on the board, my king's safer than his. I still thought I was much worse. The engine says I'm not worse. And it says bishop takes e4 is the only move to equalize. Otherwise, white's better. God damn. And that's what he did. And in this position, he made the losing move. And when I go to chess camps, I always tell my students, don't ever make the losing move. See, I'm a good teacher. Except unless you're playing me, then you can do it. So this guy might have been at one of my chess camps before because he made the losing move, but he did it against me, so that's okay. Hey, it's Miles Plays Chess. My opponent's name is Miles, so probably that's him. Also, he made fun of his own move. Okay, so he played queen e5, and I was explaining earlier, hey, by the way, Miles, if you were watching before, and you probably commentated and I missed it, I guessed you were 6'6". Was I close? My first round opponent was very tall also, but you're taller. You're 6'7"? Yeah. I thought I was going to play somebody tall in the third round, but I played Dina. So that I couldn't handle the difference in height. So I played badly that game. Okay, so in this position, it took me a few minutes to see the winning move. I wasn't looking at it. But queen on c7 was protecting his king. Now nothing's protecting his king. And a lot of times when I'm playing chess or teaching chess, I talk about moves I want to play that are illegal. So like one thing I would think here is like, man, I'd love to play knight d6 check, but he plays bishop takes d6. If he played queen takes d6, rook takes d6, then I would win his queen. So then I would try to find a way to distract his bishop from this diagonal. That's the kind of stuff I think about. Then I can't find any way to do it, so I wasted a minute. I didn't do that this position. At some point, it occurred to me queen a6 check would be a really good move. Attacks his king, attacks his b pawn, attacks his bishop. And then it occurred to me I can just play c5, and god damn, that's a hell of a threat. And well, in this position, Miles is still thinking. You thought 15 to 20 minutes here. What's funny is you made one of the engine moves. The engine just says black can resign. It says queen a6 is too strong. There's mating threats. There's threats of winning the bishop, so forth. So there's nothing. The game's over now, according to the engine. So before queen e5, the game was about equal. Although after long castle, it says if I played rook fb1, I'm much better. I don't understand why. But now I'm just winning. He played king c7, which stops queen a6 check. And now I couldn't decide between taking on b6 with check and queen a6. I thought they both won. And whenever I think that, I'm wrong, and one of the moves wins and one doesn't. And I choose the wrong one. In this case, it didn't matter. Those are the two engine moves, and they both win. But I couldn't decide which one to play because my calculation was they both won. On the other hand, queen a6 leaves my knight hanging, and taking on b6 wins a pawn. So I decided to go that way. And Engine says that's a slightly better way to win. King b7. And now I played a very strong move, which I saw before I took on b6, obviously. That's queen f3. He stopped me from playing queen a6, but queen f3 also does the job. So there's no defense here. Black's position is so bad that it says in this position he should play queen d5, sacrificing his queen. Okay, he played king takes b6. Engine says I can take on a3, but I calculated queen b3 was easier. I knew if he moved his king, I would be winning. And I knew if he played queen b5 and I took on a3, I'd be winning. So he moved his king. I took on a3. And my original intention was to play queen c4 check. And I was pretty sure they both won, but it felt good taking a bishop. And I realized if he takes my knight, I check. He has two legal moves, and queen d7 check wins his rook. Then I would be fairly confident of victory. And if he doesn't take my knight, then I'm up a knight, and his king is running around. So that's why I played queen takes a3, although my intention, the move previous, was to play queen c4 check, which is also winning. But I don't know, it's a piece. I took it. Okay, and Miles resigned, and then our mutual friend, Antonio, was upset. And I don't think Miles knows this. I don't think he was at the board, but he might have been. Before the game, Antonio said, I always root for you, Ben, but you're playing Miles, and he's my guy, so I'm not rooting for you this game. Man, the truth hurts. So Antonio was rooting for you, Miles. Yeah. He told me he wasn't rooting for me, just to let me know. So now in my life, I've beaten this Miles, and I've also beaten the real Miles, who passed away a long time ago. I've played Tony Miles about 6 times, and I've drawn him, I think, twice, and I beat him once, and he beat me 2 or 3 times. I can only remember 2 games I lost, but I'm probably forgetting one. I've played Tony Miles on different continents. Yeah, but Antonios have fewer syllables when you call him Tony. Okay, let's get to the only game you guys care about, and then you're all going to leave the stream. Everybody said, since the game ended, you have to make a video about this game, and you have to analyze it with Dina on stream, and you have to write a poem about it, and I want to see the game, and roar, and so forth. Okay, so I played Dina Belankaya. She's my boss because she hired me to work at her camp the previous 2 days before we got paired. We've never gotten paired before. Dina's been having good tournaments in April, and this is one of her best tournaments ever. She played the 3 highest rated players in the tournament. She got 2.5 out of 3. God damn. And she tied for first, getting all the prize money. Okay, so I'm black. I decided to play the Slav because that's the opening I know the most. I've had white and black and the Slav a lot in my career. And she played queen b3, which is what she plays. And when I was younger and I played the Slav every game, if my opponent played queen c2, then I traded and played bishop f5. So of course against queen b3, you can also do that. And that's the theory I know from 20, 30 years ago. I don't play the Slav much anymore, especially since I retired from chess 3 years ago. I don't play anything anymore. So I decided to play something different, played e6. I've never had this position with white or black. Played bishop f4. Super grandmasters take on c4 now, including Carlsen. I played bishop e7, which is very passive. Castles. Knight bd7. I'm playing like, I have a worse position, but I'm solid. She took. Engine doesn't like that. It says I should take with the knight, but I took with the e-pawn. Again, it says it's about equal. Played rook e8. White's slightly better. Queen's gambit decline kind of position. Okay, in this position, I should play knight g6, but I didn't. I played knight e6. And in this position, I played a hyper-aggressive anti-positional move because I really didn't know what to do. Engine says two best moves are bishop d6 and g6. G6 has the idea of playing knight g7, bishop f5 usually in these kinds of positions. But I played c5. So I'm going to play c4, winning a piece. So probably stop that. And if she takes, then I'll take with the knight. I'll take the bishop. And I have two bishops and an isolated pawn. That's fine. White's better there. But, I'm a grandmaster, so I like two bishops. Okay, the engine says bishop b5 is the best move. She played queen c2. Now the engine wants me to take on d4, but after e takes, I didn't see what I was going to do. I saw a lot of improving moves for her. Rook e1, rook c1, knight e5. I didn't see any improving moves for me. So I played c4. Engine doesn't like it. Bishop b4. Try to control the e4 square. Knight e5. Knight c7. Defending my pawn some more and helping to prepare for b5 later. Unblocking my bishop. She played f3. The engine's not thrilled with that. Bishop e6. Rook a d1. I played bishop f8, which the engine doesn't like. She played e4, which the engine doesn't like. I played b5. Now the engine says it's equal. So I'm doing stuff, and I'm getting away with it. And she's doing stuff, but now what's she going to do? So this position's about equal. She played knight g4. The engine says that's terrible, and I should take with the knight. And it says black is almost +1. I took with the bishop so that I would have a lot of attack on her e4 pawn. Now it says it's equal again. Then I played b4, and I'm attacking her knight. And if her knight moves away, her e4 pawn isn't sufficiently defended. She played g5, which the engine hates. Now the engine says black has a big advantage. I thought she would take on g7. She played here. Now the engine says black is +1. Black's up a pawn. Black's pawn structure is a little suspicious, but black has a passed pawn. Okay, so the engine says I'm +1. So far, so good. And I have a lot more time. Dina shows up late to the game to set up all her equipment to stream. And usually she's making move one like with a 20-minute deficit. And she's down 20 minutes on the clock here. Okay, king h1. Rook c8 is okay. The engine wants me to play rook b8. I don't want to pin my knight. Engine just says black has a big advantage. Doesn't like a5. She played queen f2, which is clearly the best move, which I didn't see at all. I never thought about my king getting attacked. Which other piece is going to attack my king? So she played queen f2 to ostensibly play queen g3 or queen h4. I'm like, you attack with your queen? I got a lot of pieces. But that's clearly the best move. So I didn't like that. Played knight e6. Engine says black is half a pawn better. h4, bishop g7, queen h5. Okay, and in this position, I made a double question mark move, which loses the game. The engine says if I play c3, that black is up between 1.3 and 1.7, depending on which engine you have and how long you let it run. Currently, the chess.com engine says 1.6. So after c3, if two engines were playing, then black would probably win. I want to get my pawn going. I decided my pawn was attacked, so I should play rook cd8 or rook ed8. I couldn't decide which was better, and I decided I'll keep my rook on e8, so I'm fighting for the e file later if the d file gets opened. And the rook's closer to my king on e8 than d8. And that was just idiotic. Because basically, Tactics 101, when she takes my pawn, I have no defense of my c4 pawn because I moved my rook away from it. So when I was younger, I wouldn't do something so stupid, but now I'm old and stupid. So now who knows what I'll do. I played rook cd8. That's the worst move of the game. Now white's winning. She took. As soon as I played rook cd8, I'm like, well, she takes this and takes this. What am I doing? And then I'm just crushed. Okay, so here I tried to muck things up by playing super complicated. Engine says knight g5 is the best move. Knight g5 looks terrible. My knight's trapped. But anyway, it says that white's up 1.4. I played knight takes d4 because that's the most complicated, hoping to confuse the audience. But Dina was not confused. And in this position, I wanted Dina to take on d4. Now the engine says it's equal. Play rook e1. And if you play the obvious move, king g1, then I play queen a7, attacking your rook and it's pinned. And if you play one of the two obvious moves, queen h4 or queen g4 is double question mark. Queen h4 is equal. So I guess queen h4. Then I play rook d1, and this is as far as I analyzed. Turns out this is a draw. I thought black was winning, but white has a crazy way to draw here, which only a computer would find. Bishop e5, defending the rook, and when I take it, she has perpetual check. Anyway, so I was hoping she would take my knight, and I was hoping she wouldn't play bishop takes c4, which I thought was best, and she played bishop takes c4 pretty quickly. Material's even. My bishop on g7 sucks. My kingside pawn structure sucks. My knight on d4 is attacked. She has a passed d pawn. Her queen's better than mine. This is completely losing for black, which I knew. Okay, so I played f5, defending my knight. d6, unleashing the latent potential. Knight c2, I want to play knight e3. Bishop f4, I played my knight e3, and she Took it. And then in this position, she should play bishop f7 check, because if I take the bishop, she has the brilliant move queen g5, attacking my rook, and then d7, d8. Neither one of us saw that. So she played queen g5, which attacks my rook. And I wanted to save my f-pawn, keep my rook on the e-file. So I played rook e5, which the engine says is correct. And she played f4. And in this position, I thought of two moves, and I made the move where I have to resign. If I make the other move, it says she's up 2.7, so I'm guessing she would have won, although I'm not sure because she has less than 4 minutes on her clock. I should have played h6, attacking her queen. I considered playing h6, but I thought she might play queen g6. All my pawns are weak and pinned. But queen g6 isn't the right move. Anyway, I played rook c5, attacking her bishop, and I completely missed her next move. I would say the last 10 moves of the game, I played too quickly. And if I had thought like 3 or 4 minutes a move for the last 10 moves and didn't blunder, I would have had good winning chances, and she would have had no time on her clock. Instead, my position got worse and worse and worse. And even though she had less than 4 minutes here, she made a move I can't recover from. I can't win on time. I can't win on the board. I can't do nothing. Let's see. We have an illegal move suggested, which is probably correct, but it's illegal. Then we have a legal move suggested, which is really terrible. Boy, I wish I was playing people in the chat. God damn. People in the chat just suggest the worst moves. Why can't I play you guys? Lost in Hollywood got it. And the guy who said Blet, he's correct. Also, Suka Blet. And then somebody said Queen D7, so I assume that was a typo. Yeah, Queen E7 I didn't see. I didn't see that at all. So when she played it, I was like, God damn. There's nothing you can do here. You can't. I can't play on. It's too embarrassing. If I move my queen, then d7, d8. If I trade queens, then rook d8 check and queen. If I move my queen away from the back rank, like here, then queen f7 and queen g8 mate. If I don't move, she takes my queen. Damn, harsh. I looked at rook c7, and I decided that she could take the rook, and then if I take her queen, she queens, and she's up a rook. Although I guess I could take this with check, which I didn't see. It says bishop takes check, takes here. Oh, bishop takes f7 check first, defends h5. Now if I take with check, I don't have any checks. Actually, if I had seen rook c7, dc7, queen d1, I wouldn't have resigned. Although after this, then I would have resigned. Because that's the end of my counterplay. And I think a lot of moves win here for white. I don't think it matters. Yeah, the engine says rook e1 is +7. Because then, you know, my rook's hanging. Okay, so After queen e7, I resigned. The truth hurts. When you play chess, you lose. The 2.5 years I didn't play chess, I didn't lose. I had to come online to lose. Okay, the next game was a quirky game. That's a joke based on my opponent's name. Okay, next game I'm playing Jeffrey Quirk, but it's Quirk with an E at the end, which I assume isn't pronounced. And I had the white pieces. And his USCF rating was like 2140. We played at Cambridge Springs. And in the Cambridge Springs, Black placed Queen A5, which, I used to know pretty well. But he played a different line I've never seen before, and a lot of grandmasters play it. I just don't know it. Carlsen's played it. Played H6, a move I don't know. Then G5. He's playing very quickly. This is all his prep. And then Knight H5. And, there's grandmaster games in this line. I just don't know anything. Engine wants me to play Bishop E5, but it says Bishop D3 is fine. And G4 is a novelty. Nobody's ever played that. Bishop G7 was played in some grandmaster games. Engine wants me to play Knight H4, but I'm not playing Knight H4. I don't like my knight on H4. I played Knight D2. Engine says white's slightly better. Now it says it's equal. The game's sort of boring. We don't do very much. I thought I was better here. Objectively, Engine says I'm not better. It says equal. Now it says I'm slightly better if I take on D5. I don't think I ever considered. Doesn't like F3 so much. Says it's equal. Never play F3. E5 is super complicated. So we went from a boring position where we're moving our pieces around doing nothing, and then I played F3 and he played E5. Now all the pawns can capture each other all over the board. Engine says I'm slightly better if I take on D5. Right? Took on E5. Now it says it's equal again. It says this is all equal. It says these moves are all good. It's just equal. Okay, now he made a mistake. Oh no, he didn't make a mistake here. It was next move. Played H5, which is a good move. Rooks, and now he made a mistake. He should basically play any king move that's not the king move he played. King B8, King B6, equal. Play King D6. Now, white's better in this opposite bishop endgame because he has a lot of weak pawns. Okay, and then in this position, H4 is a mistake, and I should play E4. And it says I'm much better. It says G takes H4, I'm slightly better. I didn't do any of that. I played bishop takes G4, I'm still slightly better. Bishop F3, so my G pawn's defended, D pawn is weak. Rook C8, Engine says I'm much better here. Doesn't like E4 so much. Wants me to play Rook D3 and then double the rooks and put more pressure on D5. So in this position, when I was playing the game, and if you're looking at the times, I have an hour 20 minutes left and he has 20 minutes left. So I was an hour ahead on the clock. In this position, I thought he should play King E6. Engine doesn't play King E6. My opponent didn't play King E6. So when I analyzed the game, I put King E6 in the Engine, and it suggested a move I didn't see because I'm too old. And the Engine actually put, you're too old. is Dina, which is misspelled, Danya's girlfriend. No, it's not a secret anymore. Dina is Peter Giannatos's girlfriend. It used to be a secret. I knew about it, but you guys didn't. And then they made it not a secret a few months ago. And they actually live together. There's actually a lot of chess couples that I know about that you guys don't, and I have to ask if it's a secret, and usually it's a secret. So I can't tell you stuff that you want to know. And I couldn't tell you about Dina and Peter when they first started going out because it was a secret. Then they told me it wasn't a secret. Now I can tell you. They tell people too. In fact, Dina had a stream where she like introduced Peter as her boyfriend. I mean, like, it's very public. Danya is not dating Eric Rosen. Okay, so I was hoping you guys could explain the right move, but nobody did. That makes me feel better. This position, I thought he would play king e6, but I just played bishop takes d5 check, which I didn't see. And then he can't take it because I play f5 check and I take his rook. That's pretty good. Okay, so he played king c7, which is fine. I played f5, which is correct. I'm slightly better. d4 is correct. e6 is correct. fe is correct. The engine says taking either way is the same. I took with the f pawn. Black played king d8. So I'm finally up a pawn, although it looks pretty drawn. Played king e7. Rook d3 is the right move. Then in this position, I thought he would play rook e5, but the engine says his move is better. So can't really say he made a mistake. I played the best move, bishop a6. I want to play b3 and bishop c4. And if he takes on e6, I can take on g3 because his bishop's pinned. Play rook h5. The engine says I should play rook f3 here. Play b3. Now it says rook f5 is all zeros. Played here. Now I'm very slightly better. Now it's equal again. And in this position, black should play rook f5 and rook f2. The engine says it's equal. It says white's not better. I am a pawn up, but he's got too much counterplay. So he played rook f5. That's correct. I played rook e2. He can't play rook f2 because I take his bishop. I thought he would play rook f1 check, king c2, rook f2, and trade rooks. But engine says it's all zeros. Bishop f6, all zeros. And rook e5 is a terrible move. And now the engine says I'm winning. It says the rook and bishop ending is a draw, and the bishop ending is a win. And then it says we both play the bishop ending terrible. Every move terrible. Now in this position, I have an hour and 10 minutes left, and he has 2 minutes and change. Okay, b4 is correct. Now it says b5 is completely winning. a4 is also winning. Now it says b5 is +4. I played a5. Now I'm only +3. Okay. King d3 is correct. So far, I've played fine in the bishop ending. Okay, now I have to play b5 and I'm +5. Also, I could play king c2. So I played bishop b3, so I stop his pawn, and I want to move my king up, and b5 and, so forth. Still winning. king c6. Now I made a terrible move. It says bishop c4 is +5. I played king c4. Now it says the game is a draw, and we agreed after the game that he now played the losing move, when in fact he played the only move that draws. So neither one of us understood this endgame. Played a6, that's the best move. I played bishop c2, played king d6, I played bishop d3, he played king takes e6, I played king b3, and I had no doubt I was winning. None. And Engine says this is a draw because when I win his a pawn, it's a draw. And the easiest way to draw is to play c2 and get rid of his pawn. And after I take this pawn and take this pawn, the Engine says that ending's a draw. He played king d6. Now I'm winning again. Now c2 doesn't draw. I'd have to analyze it with an Engine for like an hour, and then I would understand it. Or I could get somebody 2,800 plus to explain it. Magnus would just explain why c2 was a draw and now it loses. I got nothing. I would have to spend like my whole life trying to understand why this is winning for white, and if my king was on c2 and his bishop was on e7, it's a draw. Okay, king c7, bishop d3. Yeah, now it says I'm plus 1,000. So maintaining his c pawn with his bishop gives him no counterplay against my queenside pawns, so I just queen them. He has to get rid of his pawn so his bishop can go to e7 and d8 and e1 and use his bishop to stop me from queening. Yeah, now it's too late. Too late. I thought it was always winning because I thought the best he could do is sack his bishop for these two pawns. Then I win. I got this pawn. What's the problem? But he didn't get that far. And here he resigned because I'm queening with check, and it's checkmate now. So when the game ended, we both agreed in this position a6 was the losing move. Turns out a6 is the only move that draws, and that in this position he should play c2 or bishop e7, and he's drawing. Needs to play bishop e7, move his king over here, give me this pawn, and it says I can't win. I don't know why I can't win. It says I can't win. I was playing instantly, thinking I was winning, and then I won easily. So when the game ended, I thought, yeah, I'm great. And then the Engine said, you suck. But I had over an hour left, and he had 10 seconds when the game ended. Judith Polgar has been married for several years, probably about 20. And she's married to a veterinarian. And Judith told me she took an animal in to the veterinarian, not knowing him. And she decided after looking at him that she would keep taking her pet into the veterinarian. Wink, wink. And the veterinarian is like, why does this woman keep bringing an animal to me that doesn't need any work? Then he figured it out. He's also very tall. He's about a foot taller than her. So if you're a woman and you want to meet a man, just go to his work with pretend work all the time. And maybe he'll get the hint eventually. Okay, last game. Okay, this is my last round game. This was played on board 1. Now, before the round started, Craig Hilby and Dina Belankaya, had 4 out of 4, and they were paired. Me and my opponent, Jonathan Kogan, who's 2340 USCF, we had 3 out of 4, and we were on board 1. It wasn't because of sexism, but Dina is always on board 4. Board 4 is situated in such a way where she can stream her game. Although, to be perfectly frank, so is board 1. But they didn't put her on board 1 in the first round. They put her on board 4 because that's more fair. Highest rated player should be on board 1. Then she kept winning, and she wants to play on board 4 because all her equipment is set up. So Dina and Craig Hilby de facto were board 1, but de jure, I was board 1. So that's pretty funny. 2 people with 4-0 are on board 4. Okay, so I decided to play a Slav again because I know the Slav. He played G3. So I decided I usually put my bishop to one of these squares, play C6, E6. My opponents always know that. So I just played something else. I can't tell you why I played G6. I don't know. I've never played G6. We got to this Grunfeld. This position, taking is the best move, which I know. I just don't know any theory. I know takes, knight A3, C3, BC, C5. But I mean, I don't know anything. Theory to move 20, and I know to move 9. So I just played C6, because I play the Slav a lot, and if he takes and I take, I've had that position before. I played B3. I've had this position before, and I've played like bishop F5 and knight E4 and knight D7. That's what I'm supposed to do. But I decided to be creative. Not a good idea. Played B5. It's virtually never been played. He played knight D2, which is okay. Doesn't refute B5. And I got a passive position. And he played rook E1, and that gave me a chance. In this position, if he wants to get an advantage, he should probably play C5. Okay, but he's looking to play E4 later. Now I take, and I get a symmetrical position, a tempo down, C5, and the tempo is here. If his rook was on F1, we have the same position. So I was like, okay, his rook's on E1, so what? And the engine says he's up like 0.1. Okay, he played rook B1. I thought he'd want to like take here, and take here, and take here. So I defended my bishop. Took on C5. Engine says taking on C4 is best. I played knight C5, which is fine. He attacked my queen. I saw it. Attacked my knight. I moved my knight away. And engine wants him to play bishop H3 here and says he's slightly better. But he played knight E5 attacking my queen. Now it says it's equal. It says for the rest of the game, nobody has an advantage. And the game goes about 40 more moves. And engine for the next 40 moves says all zeros. And it says we did nothing wrong. Eventually, we start trading and getting a symmetrical kind of position. Knight b6 is a very tactical move, but I calculated the tactics correctly. I don't have to play knight b6, but it's fine. I could even take with the queen here, but I took with the pawn. He took my free bishop. I took his free knight. It's just equal. Now, if you can see the times on the clock, I had an hour left and he had 14 minutes. And I'm higher rated, so I guess I'm playing for a win. But it's all zeros. There's no advantage to black. Okay, now I want to play rook d3. Engine says it doesn't matter if I play rook d3. Play queen e4. I have to trade queens now. And I was playing for a win because he had less than 30 seconds and I had an hour. But it's hard to play for a win because there's no way to win. And there's a 10-second increment. So he can't lose on time unless he forgets about the clock. I thought the only way to win was to get rook and 4 versus rook and 3 and give him a passed a pawn. That's what I did. If I'm begging for a draw, I can play rook a2, rook b1, rook takes a3, rook takes b5. Most drawn position ever. So I played here, and, you know, maybe somebody can win. Black's better here, but, you know, he's got less than 30 seconds. But he didn't have any trouble. Not much to do. He just moved his king back and forth. Yeah, e4 gives away any hope I have of winning because he keeps checking me. But the engine just says all zeros. It says that nothing ever wins. Then I offered a draw because it just checks me forever. Can't escape the checks. The main reason I offered a draw is this was move 50, and the score sheet went to move 50, so we have to get another score sheet if I played on. No reason to play on, because he just keeps checking me. I have nowhere to hide. And if I hide on h6, which I don't think I can, and he plays rook b6, how am I supposed to win? King's on h6. Terrible. So, according to the cap score on chess.com, this was the best played game of the tournament. I didn't see the other games in the tournament and see their cap scores, but trust me, this had the best cap score. Engine said white played 98.5, and it said I played better. God damn. It says I played 98.6. I can guarantee you, in all the sections in the tournament, there wasn't a game that when it ended, both players played better than 98. I guarantee it. And that was my tournament. So I played better than the Pistons. Maybe even better than the Knicks. Maybe. So I sort of equalized in the early middle game. There were a lot of tactics and complications. Eventually things got traded. Got a symmetrical kind of position. Nobody was better. I did try to win because I had, like almost an hour and he had less than a minute. But the queen and rook ending and the rook ending are just too drawn that I can't, there's nothing to do. Just both move around. It's easy for him to make a move. So I couldn't trick him. If it was a different kind of equal where I could sort of spice the game up, then, maybe I have some winning chances. Okay, so if you showed up late or forgot, tomorrow and Sunday, I'm doing commentary for chess.com on either chess.com or chess24 or something. One of their YouTube and Twitch channels. you should be able to find me on YouTube or Twitch. My co-commentator is Mike Klein. The tournament we're commenting on is an under 13 team championship. And if I was a betting man, maybe not all of the players are better than me, but most of them are. I'm higher rated than them, although I think I'm not higher rated than a couple of them. Everybody's under 13. I think there's even some 9 and 10-year-olds. They're the best players from all over the world. So players from all over the world are playing. It starts 9 a.m. Eastern time, and then they take a break in the middle of the day, and then we start over again at 2:30. And then on Sunday, the final match is at 11 a.m. So there's teams of people, teams play each other, and so forth. Unfortunately, if you guys like my Sub Sunday viewer game analysis, I'm not doing it Sunday. I want to be consistent. I didn't do it last Sunday either, because I'm going to the Braves game with the Dodgers with my family, and my nieces are singing in a choir at the game on the field. So that'll be exciting. I don't know who the pitchers are, but Dodgers and Braves, that's the best game you can go to. It'll be on ESPN, so if you watch closely, you'll see me, because I'm bigger than everybody. Like, hey, there's Ben. He's 40,000 people, but that's him. So, yeah, the game's going to be shown all over the country. So hopefully the Braves win, don't embarrass themselves. It's going to be cold at the game. I got my Braves jersey, because I'll wear a shirt under it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed those games. And people who watch later on YouTube, there'll be a lot more of them. We'll separate the video out to make 5 different videos, one of each game. That'll happen over the next 10 days on the YouTube channel. So I'll see you guys tomorrow if you watch the coverage that Mike Klein and I are doing, Fun Master Mike. Then I'll see you tomorrow night on Sub Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'll be playing people who are subs. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Time to watch the basketball game, which is starting in 1 minute. Let's see. Boats has live poker. What? Try to raid somebody who's doing chess. Okay, I'm rating former U.S. women's champion. Okay, see you guys tomorrow. Maybe more than once. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.